Okay, so in this video, I thought we would explore my favorite neutral mixes. Now, what I do is I keep this in the front of my binder, which I have a lot of my color swatches in. And what I've done is divided this wheel up into two. So we have the cool side and the warm side, right? And I've just labeled it from A to F, from A to F, okay? So the idea is that in order to create a neutral, we mix it with its opposite color and get our neutrals somewhere in here. Okay. So I'm going to set that to the side and show you some examples of charts that I've made from the colors that I own. So the red and the blue create these different mixes, and this is like on a scale. So the closer it is to this color, the more of it has in that. Same over here, the closer it is to this, the more of this color it has in the mix. So in the center are the more neutralized ones. And as you can see, you get some very beautiful greens and bluish, still gray kind of colors. You just get colors that it would be really hard to have all those convenient colors on your palette. Well, don't worry about it because you can mix them. Same here with my lemon yellows. Now yellow kind of neutralizes into like this really warm brownish color, which is nice. But here I'm going to show you on this chart I made in a previous video. I can link that with my travel palette at the end of this video. But here I wanted to show you the favorite neutralized mix that I liked was the French ultramarine with the new gamboge. Now this I mixed on the palette before I put it on the paper. Today I thought it would be nice to show you what's the difference between mixing it on your palette, then painting with it, versus letting the colors mix and mingle on your paper. So let's get to it. Okay, so yes, I encourage you, make your own charts, keep your own records, because see this right here, and I didn't intend to show you this picture, but this all is mixed with ultramarine and the cadmium. So cadmium yellow. Here are the colors I'm using today. I'm not going to go over them, but like I said, you can go back and watch that video if you are interested in that. If not, so I'm just going to make some circles, and I want it big enough so you can see the colors play. Then I'll do a line there, and then we'll do some more. Okay. So on some days when I need a little bit of inspiration, I like to just get out my colors and play with them. So let's go ahead and try this mixture, and I'm going to start with my new gamboge, which is very similar, I'd say, to a cadmium yellow. So I'm just going to paint this in. like so. Then I'm going to grab my ultramarine. Okay, and I'm going to drop that in there. And I'm going to watch that spread across and get it a little bit more wet so we can get that flow going. And you're going to see it begin to mix on the paper. All right, so let's try another color. This is a sap green. I'll get quite a bit of that color in there because sap green is not a very strong color. And the opposite of green is red. So I'm going to go into this quinacridone rose. It's not a red, it's more of a, I'm going to drop in that, it's more of a magenta. And we're going to watch that mingle, see what we get with that. Okay. Let that mingle. Encourage it just a little bit to move on past there. And so we'll see what we get with that. Let's try another one. And I'm going to mix my, this is a Hansa yellow light. Okay. Get a fair amount of that on there. And then I'm going to come in here to my purple lake. And I'm going to drop that in there. And let that mix and mingle. Isn't that gorgeous? I can almost see like that's the sky and these are trees in the background. I start seeing pictures in my mixes when I let them mix like that. It's a beautiful thing about watercolor. Okay, so as you can see, I'm already getting some really nice neutral tones in this one. This is more of a brownish neutral tone, and this again will be more on the reddish brown side as well. So let's come over here and mix. Well, let's just do an orange here, this New Gamboge. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop in some of that New Gamboge. And I'm going to mix it. I'm going to make a little line here. And I'm going to mix it with some neutral tint. So we've mixed it with the French Ultra up there, but let's see what happens when I mix it with my neutral tint. And I'm going to come down the other way. Oh, that's another thing. You don't have to make squares. You can definitely do your own little mixes to see what you get here. But here we go. In the center is going to be our more, it's going to, as we get that way, thin out. I think you get the idea. All right. These I think are actually easier to do than the little square swatches that I did. I did that quite a while ago, a couple of years ago. So let's mix. Let's go ahead and do another mix with the neutral tint. This time let's do the the Quin Rose. So I'm going to go into the Quin Rose. Gorgeous color, isn't it? Quinacridone Rose. Sorry, I like to abbreviate sometimes. Okay, I'm going to get a good flow going. And then I'm going to go into the neutral tint. I need to refill my little palette. I use that neutral tint more than you think I would. But it is a convenient way to neutralize your colors. But it is different. Oh, look at the spread on that. Isn't that nice? As you can see, it does turn out differently. Let's try neutralizing our sap green. See what happens with that. That red and the quinacridone rose mixed with the sap is, I'm going to be honest, that's not my favorite color. I'm not really enjoying that one. But in nature, colors do mix and mingle together, and you do get so many grays mixing it. See, I'm going to upgrade my sap green because I do not feel like I'm always having to dig into that one. Okay. It's hard to pick up onto your brush is what I'm saying. This picks up beautifully. Okay, and so we're going to let that mix and mingle there. Get that going in there. Yeah, that's a beautiful gray mixture here. So using neutral tint really is, to me, it's totally different. It's totally different than mixing your own colors. I do a little bit of both. So keeping charts is a good way of reminding yourself. And then once you've used that mixture several times in your artwork, like the New Gamboge and the Ultramarine, that is one that I routinely use as a go-to gray. Okay, so let's let this dry and I will show you the end result. All right, so now that these have dried, I'm going to give you a little close-up. As you can see, when you mix it on the paper, you get some very interesting textures. That's why this technique is really nice for backgrounds. Here is it mixed with neutral tint. You could mix your own neutral tint. Offhand, I know that I do not have all the colors that are mixed with neutral tint. So I just went ahead and bought the neutral tint, which I feel like was a really good purchase. So now that you've seen them mixed here, I'll show you. If you look again, so here's the more flat wash color. I use a mixture of both techniques, especially if you're doing a flat wash and then you want to add texture on top of it. You know, it's good to learn both ways of doing it. So yeah, I encourage you to play around with color mixture. You don't have to dive deep into it. If you just play around and learn a couple of the basics, you will begin to notice a big difference in your artwork. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about color mixing of your gray. If you would like to see more tutorials, paint reviews, and tips, please consider subscribing as I upload at least once a week. Until then, thank you, and I'll see you the next one.